Hey guys, my name is Loveless, and this time we are here with another series entirely. Like, okay, so this one is not going to be my normal My Hero Academia one. This is going to be from Love and Deep Space. So, because I kind of went into a rabbit hole, not gonna lie, of just looking at fanfics from Love and Deep Space, and I was just searching for angst, and I found it. So the story does have a little bit of smut in it, not gonna lie. But since YouTube hates that, I will not be reading smut on here. You would have to find that by yourself. And well, of course, I'll provide the link so then you can actually read it yourself, but I'm not going to actually read that for two reasons. One, YouTube, and two, I don't think I'll be able to read all that with a straight face. Like, I can read it all day long by myself, but trying to say that out loud, any of that out loud, oh hell no. That ain't gonna happen. It just ain't. Um, so, like, it could be like immaturity or whatever, but it just ain't gonna happen. Okay, so this one is called Falling in Abstraction. So, if you know any of Love and Deep Space type things, it kind of just in that world, and if you know the boys or anything of it, you know what to expect, or I think you would. But either way, that's what I'm doing. Love it or hate it, that's what it is. Okay, first chapter. These chapters are amazing. It's called Pizza Betrayal. You were a normal young woman driving home from your job at a local coffee shop. You were there part time to supplement your income since your art commissions were inconsistent. Lately, you've been feeling so disconnected from the world, and your paintings have taken a weird, consuming turn. It all started half a year ago when you began playing the game Love in Deep Space. It offered some connections you didn't have in real life. Your family was spread across the country. Of the ones you were still in touch with, it wasn't frequent. Sure, you tried to keep in touch, but it was easier to move on from them and try to build something without them. After everything, you had some childhood friends you still contacted every once in a while. You love them still, even if they slowly seem to stop caring about what you were doing in your life. Playing the game had sadly, almost pathetically, given you people who cared about you again. People you worked with were solidly in the acquaintance pile, which made you extremely vulnerable to the genius marketing of lads. First off, the boys were all gorgeous. Second, they were so sweet, almost sickeningly so. What lonely, down on her luck artist wouldn't be completely addicted and dependent on such a game? That's what you told yourself to keep you sleeping at night. But it honestly didn't seem to do the job of assuaging your self pity. Because after a while, you started having dreams that were totally incoherent and with no solid form, but the feeling like you were drifting from one intense emotion to the other with nothing to anchor you. You would wake up abruptly and run to the canvas trying to capture your dream with color. But no matter what you did, you couldn't search deep inside yourself to understand. Your sleep was taking a major hit. No one was reaching out to buy the something disturbing abstracts you were pumping out, and so you were picking up more shifts at the coffee shop. As you drove home, you found yourself looking forward to opening your game and talking to your boys. I'll make pizza and do my night and beauty routine while it's in the oven. Then, once I'm done, I can play after I'm all pretty, you tell yourself with a smile. You deserve this. Who cares you're getting pretty for some nicely arranged pixels? If that's what motivates you to do self care, you pull up into your apartment complex and run inside as fast as you can. Maybe if you can relax enough before bed, you can finally get some good sleep. You set your things on the couch and go to your room, peeling off your work clothes with a groan. Ugh. If I never have to wear this shit again, I would burn it in a second. I really need to get to working on some more commissions. Maybe I should post some old work for engagement. You quickly shut down that thought, forcing yourself into relaxation mode. If you can't clear your head, then you won't be at your best for your art or your job. Once the pizza was in the oven, you hopped into the shower and did your most rigorous routine: shaving, hair mask, all your skincare products, fully exfoliating, using all the moisturizers you own. By the end, you were shiny and gleaming. You giggled in the mirror to yourself. If only you were actually going to get some tonight. Digital boyfriends would have to do. The timer on the oven went off and you rushed to take it out. As you were taking it out, it felt like something hot was in your hand. Oh shit! The pizza fell onto the ground, cheese first. No, why? What the fuck? You hopped foot to foot as you held your hand covered in the oven mitt to your chest while you bitched and whined. How could you do this to me? You could have had a perfectly good home in my stomach. Deciding you should probably stop yelling at the pizza on the floor like a psycho loser, you turned to the sink and ripped the oven mitt off. How did I burn myself with an oven mitt on? I'm getting clumsier by the minute. With water running over your hand, you inspect the oven mitt. It was worn and old, and sure enough, when you looked closer, there had a hole near the center of your thumb. Just my fucking luck. When did it get there? Sighing, you took your hand from the water and inspected your hand. Definitely burnt. And in a really inconvenient spot right on your joint of your thumb. This was not a good start for your night. Can't you have one good thing? Grabbing the first aid kit from your bathroom, you fixed your hand with some burn cream and bandages. After cleaning up the traitorous pizza, you decided to give up and made a sandwich. You couldn't wait any longer to play, so you hopped on the couch with your phone and opened up to the game while you ate. There was Xavier looking at you with his sweet gaze, and you instantly felt better. Let's complain to him a little first, you thought, and so you did. Reveling in his comforting words, time to farm for diamonds. So you started doing your daily task. Right in the middle of your deep space trial with Raphael, you started to feel extremely tired. You can barely keep your eyes open. Weird, I'm not usually this tired so early. It's only 9:30. Maybe everything's catching up to me. Or maybe my self-care spa treatment idea worked. Closing your game, you trotted off to bed. You eyed the new canvas you sketched this past week. It was one of the biggest you had at home currently, around 5.5 feet tall and 3 feet wide. You had woken up at 3 a.m. on a Saturday, half asleep, feeling like you had to do it right then. It was seriously odd, especially since you didn't plan on it beforehand. As you jumped into bed, you buried into your blankets and pillows, you had a fleeting thought that the canvas would need to be done soon. In your dream, flashes of light blended into red shadows with glowing fire. Crystalline surface gleamed as they sailed past you at dizzying speeds, and you felt growing despair and worry as the red swirls blended with ice, white and blue. Your fear ratcheted up higher and higher, and you can feel your breath growing heavy and fast. But you couldn't stop what was coming, you knew. As a silver flash overtook the swirls of color in your mind, you knew it was over for good, and you cried out one last time. Other voices screaming in the distance, and everything went black. You woke up screaming. You didn't know where you were. You looked around quickly, still confused, still caught under the weight of that dream. When you realized you weren't in your bed, what the hell? You were standing in front of your big canvas, only it wasn't blank anymore. Covered in blue, red, and white swirls with silver and purple stabbed through it. It looked like smoke and liquid in one, like space and sea, like ice and air. It was violent and sad. You were entranced, couldn't look away. But as you felt your paintbrush in your wet hand, you looked down. Your hand was covered in paint, gripping the brush. Oh no, not again. Even worse this time. I didn't even remember getting out of bed. Did I do this in my sleep? Oh my god, something is deeply wrong with me. The paintbrush fell out of your hand as your mind slowly unraveled. You watched it fall with seemingly no reaction. All of a sudden, you decided you were not dealing with this anymore. You turned without looking back at the painting and headed straight for bed. A stray towel on your bedroom floor was used to scrub your hands dry of all the paint. Tears burning in your eyes as you tried to rid yourself of evidence of what happened. You couldn't keep doing this. What was wrong with you? Your sobs broke as you climbed into bed, after you gave up trying to clean your hands. Oh my god, I'm going crazy. What's happening to me? As you cried, your mind drifted to the dream you had earlier. Feeling disturbed, usually you couldn't remember much from the intense dreams you had, but this time was different. Even without abstract elements of the dream, it felt so real. Slowly, your sobs ebbed as you felt the heavy press of sleep again, without even being able to worry about what might happen in your dreams again. Nothing happened in your dreams again that night. You woke up with the sun shining on your bed, and you assumed you slept through half of the day. Checking your phone, you found out you were right. It was 12:30. Damn, you thought. I must have been wiped out after that painting. Your head snapped up. That fucking painting. Quickly getting up, running to the living room, you stopped in your tracks as you saw the painting. In the light, it was even more disturbing, more beautiful, and more heartbreaking. As you looked, you wondered, what could possibly drive you to this extent? Are you so hurt and sad? Is your life so empty? Do you hold this violence in your heart? It hurt to think that it all may be true. With a sigh, you turned away from the painting and decided to get into the shower again. You had sweat through your pajamas and was covered in paint. As you looked at yourself in the mirror, you took stock of yourself. Your long red hair was shiny but a mess, probably from tossing and turning, and small bits of paint that were splattered throughout. Under your big blue eyes was deep shadows despite your pampering last night. That's what I get for thinking I can get away with a good night's sleep for once. You check your burnt hand from last night, finding it irritated and rubbed raw from paint, and holding the brush so tightly. You cleaned and rebandaged it, feeling ridiculous. In the shower, you decided you can't stay in your apartment alone today. Sure, it was your off day and you usually sit home playing lads or watching dramas, but you clearly needed the fresh air. You got out of the shower and put some jeans on and a white t-shirt. On the way out of the house, you grabbed your boots and your brown leather jacket to shave the chill of the early fall. You did go to a different coffee shop and got a latte and headed to the park to drink it. Sitting on the bench in the sun with the cool breeze, you start to think about your life. It's not the worst. You have a home. You're getting by okay for the first time in a while. It took you so long to get here. But in the end, what did you really have? No friends, basically no family. If you were being honest with yourself, oh well, you thought dejectedly. It's not like you didn't try. Everyone just ended up leaving in the end. Opening up your phone for comfort, you click on the Lads app and find there's a server maintenance. Server maintenance? Of all the fucking times. There isn't even supposed to be an update. So what the hell's going on? You throw your phone in your back pocket and cross your arms with a pout. Seriously bad timing. Whatever. You guess you should probably touch grass anyways today. You sit on the bench for hours. As the light in the sky gets dimmer, you decide, I'm going to get absolutely wasted tonight. Googling some bars in the area, you get up as soon as you find one that's not too seedy and not too nice online. You walk, since it's not far from the park, and getting there about 15 minutes. Since it's still pretty early, around 5 p.m., not many people were there, and that was just fine with you. You took a seat at the bar and you looked up at the bartender. A woman a little older than you, probably in her early 30s, gives you a side eye. She's going to be one of those, huh? You were very short, 5 feet tall. Without the added couple inches from your favorite heeled boots, you had decidedly cute baby face that you had come to hate for this very reason. No one took you seriously, and for some reason, people always assumed redheads were younger. When you dyed your hair brown, people thought you were older, but it wasn't worth the upkeep. With a roll of your eyes, you put your ID on the table. 24. Are you sure? You look more like 16, honey, the bartender said with skepticism. You smiled in her face and said, Yes, I'm very sure. You can scan it if you want. I'll like vodka lemonade, please. The woman picked up your ID and looked back and forth between you and it for a while, until she relented and went to make your drink. You sighed in relief, proceeded to pound it. After 5 drinks and a few hours, the bartender said she wouldn't serve you anymore. Take your tiny ass home, cupcake. I'll show your cupcake a tiny ass, you said as you slid from the bar, sauntering outside. It was dark and had gotten cold. As you looked up to the night sky, it started raining. Heavily. It came down all at once, and you yelped and went back under the awning. Calling an Uber, you jumped as a flash of lightning struck the building next door. Eyes on a swivel in case you were next to a fiend, you waited for the rain to sway with the wind. Happily obliterated and numb despite the scary weather, your car pulled up and you hopped in. You drifted in the car on the way home. The driver woke you to get you to leave. You stumbled into your building, too slow to avoid getting completely soaked, and grumbled to yourself about how if there was a God, he hates your ass. As you opened the door, you dropped your bag hastily on the ground and fumbled to close the door. When you turned around, you spotted the stupid fucking painting that's been haunting you. You stupid painting, go away. You stumped over to it as you pointed in its direction accusingly, obviously not making any sense, but feeling like it's been at fault for your awful day. As you got closer to the painting, seeing some brushes on the floor, you turned to get them. But in your drunken stupor, you stepped on one and slipped. The rainwater coming off you added to your speed of your fall. Lightning flashed as you fell, and you tried to catch yourself on the painting. But instead of holding your weight, your hand goes right through the painting, and with nothing to anchor you, your body falls right through it at once. There was a flash and rumble as you fell, and it was like one of your dreams. You can't be totally sure at this point that it isn't. But as you continue to fall, you begin to scream and cry. As something coherent begins to be seen, you panicked as you realize it's the ground. A tree! You flail and scream, but that doesn't slow your fall. As you close your eyes and you make impact with the tree, the pain rips through your abdomen, your legs, your arms, and you continue to fall down the tree and onto the branches. You try to grab at them as you fall, and in a second, everything goes white, and you scream as you feel the burn in your whole body. Finally, you hit the ground with a thump and a whimper, having shredded your vocal cords on the way down. Oh my God, someone, help! Oh my goodness, someone! You hear a voice yell as it gets closer to you. You shift your eyes to some old lady hobbling towards you, as fast as she can while yelling for help. Your vision is blurring, but you try to stay awake as you moan in pain. Another flash of light jumps across your vision. You flinch, fucking lightning, but the boom doesn't come. You looked up to see a blonde man sprinting to you, not far away. Sophie, I'm here, Sophie! He yells as he runs right to you, bending over you and ghosting his hands over your body. It's weird. How does he know your name? Why does he look so sad? His face was completely crumpled in sadness and fear as he checks you over and grabs his phone. I need an ambulance. Over at Emerald Park. Immediately. I have an injured female with lacerations and possible broken bones. He lists to the call, but his eyes locked on you in that crumpled way. For some reason, it physically hurt to see. You reach your hand out to his cheek, or at least tried, but you didn't have the strength. He catches it in the air, and you sigh in relief, even with the pain lashing through every part of your body. Finally, you close your eyes and let yourself pass out. And as you do, you hear a man calling your name over and over in a desperate cry. Your last thought before everything goes dark is, how does he know my name? Woo! We did it! Yeah! Okay, heads up. These chapters will not stay short. They are only going to get longer. So if you like Love in Deep Space, then you will like this story. And if you like also Isekai, because that's exactly what this is. If you want to see more of this, you know what to do.